Hello and welcome to the beach for another nighttime low tide exploration. I'm Rachel.
I'm Stina Troyer.
And we are going to be taking you on a tour of the Fox Island Sandspit tonight. It's a beautiful low tide. It's going out to about a negative 1.8 foot, I think. And that's going to give us a great opportunity to explore and see the cool creatures that are there. Like always, we would love it if you would post in the comments where you're watching from. It's always great for us to know that information. You can say hi. And of course, if you have questions at any time, go ahead and pop those in the comments. We've got Lindsay on the back end going to be trying to answer some questions as well. So hopefully that works out.
Thanks,
and I want to start things off by just reminding you that we are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel so that we can bring these live from the field programs to YouTube, and that'll help us get our programs into the schools a little bit better. Schools kind of don't really allow social media in there for the students. So anything else we want to add?
That's your reminder right now. Don't forget to stay here. Don't leave us. It's cold now. We're not doing this for nothing. So, but don't forget to do that at the end, and we'll remind you. So
yes, we will.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and maybe some predictions of what you think we might see out here.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Sandspit. Might be fun. So.
All right. And don't forget, you can share this feed too as well. That's always really helpful.
Watch parties.
All right. Let's go ahead and turn this around and we'll get our big lights fired up. Haha. Cool. We are at the beach.
Woo! Got our boots on.
Got the boots on. I got toe warmers in my boots.
Oh, I did not do that today.
Oh, you're going to wish you did. It is about 35 degrees Fahrenheit out tonight. The wind is blowing and we are on a little spit, a little peninsula that sticks out. So we'll do our best to be speaking loudly so that you can hear us. But my apologies if we cut out a little bit. And
sorry about the wind noise in advance.
Yeah, I can't do too much about the wind, but we'll see. Technical hurdles. All right, so we're just walking down the beach, starting to notice a little bit of life. In particular, the toughest of the tough up here. We've got some limpets and periwinkle snails. They're able to kind of use their shell to trap moisture to withstand the low tide. The surface temperature of the beach is significantly colder than the water. So not only do these animals have to deal with being exposed to the air, they also have to deal with the frigid cold. There's about a 20-degree difference or so.
Lucky for them, it doesn't snow a lot here in Washington, so they don't often get snowed on. I'm noticing some oysters.
Oh yeah, that's a nice good size oyster.
Roughly shelled bivalves. So there's two shells that come together and there's a muscle holding this closed. As everything in the intertidal zone, this shell offers surface. And so I see there's lots of barnacles growing on top of it, as well as some of the snails, and even a little sea anemone here.
Which, speaking of sea anemones, check out what's happening right here.
Oh my gosh, we have binary fission in action.
Wild. So this is an aggregating anemone, and we brought our black light tonight so that we can have a look around and see what glows out here at the beach. So I'm going to cover my bright headlamp, and you can see that this is an animal that fluoresces in the presence of this ultraviolet light. So what's happening is there are proteins in the animal's skin called fluorescing proteins, and they get excited when they're exposed to UV light, and they emit their own light. That's kind of that greenish, orangish glow that you see. They kind of look like highlighters. All the highlighter colors are fluorescing proteins. And what's great is this animal uses that as a form of sunscreen because they can also do photosynthesis, or I should say, the algae inside their skin, they have a symbiotic relationship with algae. The algae inside their skin can do photosynthesis. So this is an animal that has food even when there's nobody getting caught in those tentacles. And there's a lot of them. The more we kind of look, the more we'll see.
Yeah. And that splitting in half is one individual becoming two individuals. So you'll have identical genetic information. And so we'd call this is kind of a form of cloning. So very cool to find.
Ooh, here's some of that red algae. So, let's shine that light on that because we've been seeing the red algae looks really kind of pretty. Bright, fluorescent. underneath the black light there. And that's, again, more sunscreen protection for this photosynthetic organism.
Yeah, and this one is this is a filamentous red algae, and so there's kind of this nice puddle here. So you can see all those really fine branches. This is a species called Polysiphonia.
Well, aren't you
really
fancy knowing that?
Really fun to see. It's a cool one to
Beautiful.
press too.
Yeah. I love it. More anemones now. Now we're getting anemones that are down in the sand. I'm going to cover mine light, and Stina, you can cover yours, and we can just sort of shine it around and see if we can see a few more anemones. Yeah, more of that red algae. Look at that.
I think that might be green.
Oh, green, you're right. Wow. That's wild.
That's very impressive.
I did not know that glowed. We've got some more clusters of anemones here. Lots and lots of them. How fun is this? This is a cool tool to take with us to the beach. Thank you to my husband for buying it for us.
Thanks, Jen.
We were doing a beach walk with a little tiny one, and he said, no, there's got to be a more powerful one out there. So by the time I arrived home from the beach, he'd already ordered it, which is great. All right, so we're down in more sandy section of the beach. It's definitely, there's less substrate, but that just means that most of the animals are underneath the surface. So let's go to the water's edge. Oh, here we are.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, listen. Oh, hold on, I'm stepping on a clam.
Sorry, Clam.
There's a horse clam right here. But I'm gonna be quiet here for a second and try to block the wind and see if you can hear the tube worms. They kind of make a little sound.
Yeah, it's like kind of like a creaky door.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think of it as like zippers, like everybody, like a zipper chorus. But these are all worms, tube worms. There's a couple different kinds here. The thicker tube worms are different than these little banded tubes.
We call the ones with the sandy tube. These thicker ones are bamboo tube worms, whereas the thinner
noisy ones
are the banded tube worms. And yeah, we've joked that this is the tube worm opera that we're hearing. Intertidal opera.
Is I hope it's translating well through the microphone, because it just sounds so strange.
Something just that I'm noticing is normally when we're here, the tubes aren't as exposed.
Yeah, so it looks like the sand is really stirred up.
Maybe like that winter erosion where like the sand has moved away and we're really seeing
Lots
a lot
of
of tube exposed.
Normally there's like a centimeter of tube exposed.
Yeah, so that's kind of
interesting and wild.
winter wonder.
Got a clam here. These larger holes are clam holes. I have to be careful when I walk over them because they do squirt, and they'll just discharge all their water that they're holding in their body to go down below and grab a new set of water. And then we've got another nice big anemone here. I bet you this one looks cool under the black light, Stina. Fire it up.
Like it has like anemones inside the anemone.
Yeah, those are just mesenteries.
Yeah, that's very cool.
So fascinating. Yeah, you can hear the wind and you can hear the tube worms. All right, I wish I could cancel the wind and only just mic up the tube worms. But
Here's one more tube worm.
ooh, that's a different kind.
This is again seeing really that extra like 2 inches of exposed case. This is a spaghetti tube worm, and they build their shell by taking material from their surroundings. So I'm
You
seeing
just
like
kind of glue it.
some
Look,
bark and some other tube worm casings and some pieces of seaweed. And yeah, they glue that all together, and then the worm comes out the hole at the top.
Love it.
Some
Oh,
shell
and
debris.
I noticed another little
that's
friend right here.
Cool.
We've got a hairy hermit crab in a shell that is far too small for it. This is a species that usually chooses a shell that is too small on purpose. So how this animal can't fit all the way inside. I'll just leave them be there. But they do the tube worms.
It's not my boots this time.
It is kind of cool. You can see them kind of squirting a little bit of water out. But yes, the hermit crab chooses a small shell on purpose so they can be really swift, fast. This is a Ferrari of the hermit world. Do hermit crabs glow? This is what we got to know. No, not really. Just a little reflection.
Like you can see that there's some algae growing on the stick.
Interesting. All right, well let's head down towards the point. That way I can use my body to block the wind a little bit. The tube worms, they just sound so great. Little zippy things. Sorry, yeah. Sandy beaches often show what the currents have been doing, and this is a peninsula of land that sticks out, and so it gets quite a bit of wave action, and so we see that reflected in the sand patterns here. Lots of clams. I'm hearing clams squirting. Oh, hey, look at this little creature. You thought you were so well camouflaged, little red rock crab, but we see you. This is a juvenile, and you can tell because they have kind of a mottled coloration and almost greenish eyes. That'll go away with probably the next time they molt. They'll be a little bit bigger, a little bit more brick red color until they're kind of in their final form with their dark coloration and black-tipped pinchers.
Okay, I see
Whoa.
4 of something.
4?
What do you think I see?
Oh, I know what you see.
We have a leather star and another
Leather star, leather star, leather
Oh,
star.
looks like it has a
Ooh, extra leg leather star.
And
Bonus.
another leather star. And then, okay, there's a 5th. This is
Okay, we're in leather
entering
star
territory.
Leather star world.
Here's my boot for comparison.
So
And
this
a sand dollar.
Yeah, I was just gonna say there's looks like there's a handful of sand dollars here. Both of these are echinoderms, which is kind of great, although they're differently shaped and have different body styles. This sand dollars are flattened. They have a hard skeleton called a test on the inside of their body, and it's very, very fragile compared to the leather stars, which have sort of a flexible, harder skeleton. Their skeleton typically protrudes through their skin, although in the leather star it doesn't. They are smooth all over. And Stina likes to fondly refer to them as the scratch and sniff star because they smell like garlic, but you kind of have to touch them. Gosh, they're everywhere. Okay.
Star.
We get lots of stars.
This one is just 5-legged. It just has a funky
Just
little
twisty.
shape.
Just bendy today. That's fine. Little sea star aerobic or sea star yoga, I guess. Not mad about that. All right. So I tend to favor the shoreline where the water is, just because the animals down here are a little more delicate than the ones up top, and so they're sometimes a little less noticeable. Gosh, that one's beautiful. And look at that
Here's that
scale worm.
scale worm. So this is a polychaete with a symbiotic relationship with the leather star. You can see it's
There's bright light.
I'm gonna seek safety underneath
Run
the
away.
star, but guess what?
We're gonna
We can
flip you gently over to show those tube feet and that beautiful scale worm.
Yeah, I like that contrast on the. You can see why it's called a scale worm, because it really looks like it has scales. You know, that peachy color aligned with the darker red.
So pretty. Love to see those. Ooh, here's something. We've got some fish eggs here. These look, I would guess, sculpin eggs, but really it could be anything. The parents are not around to tell us exactly what species, but I do know sculpin lay eggs about this size and color.
Sculpin is a great.
And if somebody in the comments actually knows what kind of eggs they are, feel free to tell me. I would love to learn. It's our motto, is learn and have fun, and we're having fun out here despite the cold. And hopefully you are learning right alongside us. Again, I apologize for the wind. If you're just tuning in and you want to mention in the comments where you're watching from, we love to know. And of course, you can share this to your feed and come back and watch it again later. Ooh, Stina, fire up that black light on this algae. So this is Turkish towel. It's a beautiful red algae. And look at that. Wow. Gorgeous. So pretty.
Very cool.
Quite excited about this black light that we have. Let's see.
also post these videos to YouTube, so if that's your preferred platform, which you're on Facebook now, so I don't know why it would be. Anyways, but those will be available as well.
Nice.
Which is a good reminder to go subscribe, because we're trying to get 1,000 followers there.
Yes, if we get 1,000 subscribers, it'll allow us to broadcast live on YouTube from the field, and we can show all the people out there in YouTube land all these amazing cool creatures that Facebook you guys have known about for a long time. We are appreciative of all the followers that we've gained over the past year while we've switched to all digital programs, so thanks for hanging in there with us.
For winter time, this is a
That's
really
a lot
big
of
piece
algae.
of sea lettuce. This is a 2-cell thick seaweed.
It's really
really,
thin.
lives up to its common name because it looks like lettuce of the sea. When it dies off, it turns kind of a white color. This looks like some
Which I
pretty
always
healthy.
say is like the ghost of seaweed.
Yeah.
Ooh, here's the succulent seaweed.
Ooh, yeah.
We can talk about that.
Sea noodles.
Sea noodles. It totally looks like you really could put some marinara on that.
This will be a fun one to
Tastes
see.
delicious.
Oh, yeah. That fluorescence is fun.
So cool. I just love it.
Is that apricot? No.
No.
It's just red.
It's just red.
Red. Cool.
Yeah. The water's surprisingly clear. But
Or
I guess
is it surprising? Because it's winter and there's
Well,
not a lot of sun.
I meant, when we get a lot of wind, it stirs up the sediment. But you're right. It is winter time, which means there's less plankton in our water.
3
Star,
stars
star,
in a
star.
row.
You get a star, and you get a star, and you get a star.
Yeah.
There's another. We got all kinds of leather stars here. It may not be quite low enough tonight to see some of the other sea stars, although at this location we do see occasionally spiny pink stars and mottled stars. But let's talk about some of the shells that are here, Sune.
Yeah.
You're kind of our shellfish person,
It's
which I
not
hate
a
the word
shell
shellfish because it's not a fish at all.
Yeah.
But tell us what this one is.
Yeah, so this is a butter clam, and I know right off the bat because it has this really big, brown, dark, thick hinge. It also doesn't have, I'm like, what are my clam words? The radial lines.
Yeah, radial.
Are these concentric?
Yes.
Is that my...
Yes,
Okay,
there
good.
you go.
They only have the concentric shell rings, not the radial stripes. They're kind of that white color.
Pretty thick shell
yeah,
overall too, very, very
definitely.
dense.
They also, if the clam was inside, it gets its name because that meat
Kind of a
inside is a
buttery yellow
buttery
color.
color.
I thought it was because they taste best served with butter.
I mean, then I'd call everything a butter.
Good point. Good point. Butter mussels, butter oysters, butter everything. And butter clams are really, really common at this beach. That's one of the most populated
Sometimes they're
species.
called Washington clams. I think.
Oh, Washington
The
clams.
thing.
Sure, why not? Let's claim them. I like
I'm seeing a lot of butter clam shells.
Butter clams are particularly useful for the health department, and they actually come out and harvest these butter clams to do tests for various pathogens in the water, because the butter clams will hold on to those pathogens for longer than other species of clams, so they're a good indicator species. That'll tell us if our water's healthy or not. And you found a different species.
Yeah. So here's that butter clam again. So right off the bat, big thick hinge. Whereas this one, you can see that hinge is not the same. It also has a different shell shape. So I'm noticing this little, like, almost
Flat
looks like
section.
it got chopped a little. So this is the clam.
And it doesn't close all the way.
Yeah, this
So
is
they
a horse clam. And the siphon would come out of this area. Whereas our butter clam
Can close
see is-
entirely.
nice and round all the way. It does close.
I like butter clams because they make good puppets.
What are you talking about?
Exactly that. Exactly that.
Okay. Sure. Whatever you say, Rachel.
Learn, have fun, right? The have fun is very strong in my mind when we're out here in the dark at night in the winter.
You were talking about the butter clams being used as a bioindicator. I also want to mention mussels. We just secured another cocktails and fishtails speaker to talk about the Mussel Watch program, which uses mussels as a indicator of water quality.
So I found there's a gaper clam here, a horse clam, and there's a little tiny shrimp hanging out.
Can you see it?
It's itty bitty.
Right there.
This is a cool thing to find too. Evidence of predation on these butter clams. This is the mark of a moon snail murder, or a moon snail munching if you prefer that.
Murder attempt.
Yeah. I love it. So the moon snail is a very large snail that drills holes through the shell. They just kind of lick and lick and lick and lick and lick all the way through. How many licks does it take to get to the center of butter clam? We will never know, because moon snails don't tell us that information. But occasionally when we see this happening, it does take a long time. And if the moon snail's large enough, they can suffocate the whole clam before they drill through. So once the clam's dead, they don't eat them through this hole. They just drill through there to damage the muscle on the inside of the hinge that holds the clam shut. So once the clam's dead, then they open up and they can be eaten by the moon snail. Oh yeah. Hey there.
Sorry, sea star. Almost got you. A full.
It's so bizarre that this is like in the wrong spot.
I know.
We almost always see them way back here, but moon snails, maybe they're clumsy. What was that?
I was hearing a sea lion earlier.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was a big exhale of something way out there. Cool.
Let's use our shell phone to call them. Ring, ring. No one? This is another type of red algae. So the sea noodles we saw earlier are thicker. This is a thinner one called witch's hair.
Yeah, I love this one. This one will look. Ooh, there.
Yeah.
I saw his eye. Whoa. Okay, so there's a sea lion like 30 feet from us. Or at least there was a second ago. Probably shined bright in his eye and he's like, I am out of here.
It is impressive. So you think like we have this pretty low sloping sand, but it drops. Like there's a drop off. Yeah.
Ooh, I see him.
Oh my God.
Wow. Okay, so we got a sea lion admirer here.
Hello?
Does he glow?
Let me see
Somewhere
your sea lion.
out there. Hey there, sea lion. All right. Well, back to intertidal life, which is our specialty. Let's fire up the blacklight on this pretty algae. Oh yeah, look at that.
Stick.
So pretty. The stick glows.
Yeah,
too.
the stick glows because
It's got some green, maybe algae or lichen on it.
or
Or scuzz? Bacterial film? I don't know. Oh, gosh, you know, we looked
like
right
a
past
animal.
it. Okay, but does it glow? No, not really. Okay, so this little shiny blob, we got distracted by algae. Big surprise. If you know Steve and I, you know we're big algae nerds.
like seaweed.
But this is a shaggy mouse nudibranch. It's a species that we see intertidally only really from now through about March or April. In the summer months, they migrate into deeper water and we don't really see them around, but this is a species that eats those aggregating anemones that we were seeing earlier, and it takes the stinging cells that the anemone uses for capturing food, and the slug can actually incorporate them onto those sort of serrata on their back, those little kind of tentacle-like things, and they use the stinging cells. So if we were small and were to try to like attack this slug, it would feel like we were attacking an anemone, and that would protect the slug, which is just bizarre, but so cool.
Yeah, and I'm having a wonder. I'm curious if whatever tree species this is does some photosynthesis through its bark,
could be.
kind of like madronas do.
Yeah.
And because it doesn't look like it has green algae growing on it. There's another hermit crab.
Oh yeah.
Do-do-do-do.
Hey there, hermit.
But yeah, tree wonders.
It's always nice to wonder something. I love it when I get stumped on the beach. It's like my favorite thing. And then I know I have a whole night of Googling ahead of me. It's great. Yeah. Oh, this one was attempted. 3 attempts were made to get through this shell, and then it probably just gave up. so many clams. What you guys probably can't hear are the little like splatterings of water. It's like the whole beach is covered in turkey basters. Stina's fascinated by algae. Making a nice Instagram post, no doubt.
To ask my tree friend.
Oh, she's got to ask her tree friend. I wish I had a tree friend. I mean, I'm friends with trees, I guess, but they don't speak to me. I need a tree expert friend. Oh, here's another clam.
Aha.
Wow, that's a big one.
Radial.
Yes, tell us about this one.
So this is a heart cockle. And unlike the butter clam, that has lines going concentrically, this one has lines going radially. We call it the Ruffles potato chip of the sea. And it gets its name heart cockle. Guys, it looks
Like
the
heart.
outline
What a
of
beautiful segue to help us promote our Valentine's Day talk that Stina and I are giving. We're going to be giving our racy, ridiculous reproduction in the Puget Sound talk, our rated R talk, on Valentine's Day at 8 p.m. That is an adults only themed, not safe for work kind of presentation. Oh, look at this one. Wait, I can't leave this. Look at this. It's so beautiful.
That is beautiful.
So this is a mottled star, and this one is nicely showing off how they get their name, the mottled coloration.
Yeah.
Kind of orange and brown on this one. Gorgeous. And this one has the madreporite, the little sieve plate that helps with their water vascular system. This one's also showing us this rear end on the top there. Believe it or not, that's a feature of more highly evolved animals. So,
Oh, I see some bubble snails.
what? Seen it? Oh my god! You got me all excited because bubble snails are an actual thing. But no, you just found bubbles.
But I'm curious who made the bubbles.
I'm gonna guess
There's a lot of bubbles.
dead animals or poop. Detritus.
Speaking of dead things,
Oh, what'd you find that's dead?
No.
That's a good segue. Speaking of dead things, what
It's
you got?
dead
What you got?
seaweed.
Oh,
But, oh yeah, so this dead seaweed compared to the live seaweed fluoresces differently.
ooh,
So it's kind of the green.
interesting.
red.
Okay, that's a fascinating thing.
Weird. Wonderful.
How about our leather stars? Do they glow? Ooh, a little bit. Nice. I like it.
Bubbles.
Bubbles, goodness. There is truly an animal called a bubble snail. They're really cool, and I was surprised because I would not expect to find them in this habitat. Big oyster.
Show. This is a live oyster.
Yeah.
Ruffly bivalve.
Nice. All right. Lots of clams. Ooh, another one.
All right, this one has radial and concentric rings. So this is a type of steamer clam. And it's been out here for a while. Normally I'm looking for like a purple
Little swoosh of purple
color.
inside there.
Which since it doesn't have it, I'm like, are you the native one or the non-native one? There's something about running your finger over the hinge, and if it's one way, it's one thing, and if it's the other way, it's the other. And I'm so bad at remembering the difference. So
We'll have to make a mnemonic device. I'm excellent at mnemonic devices.
we'll figure that out.
I like it. This also makes a good puppet.
Does it?
It does.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Imagine that.
Wow.
Oh, goodness.
If you tuned into the water quality beach walk on the first Tuesday of February, we were talking about the difference between a Barrow's goldeneye and a common goldeneye. And we have the .com of the common, so it has a dot on its face.
Okay, I like that.
So that was, we remembered. I see some
Lots of shrimp.
eelgrass that might be
Yes,
fun to-
I initially stopped to talk about the eelgrass. I bet it glows red. Ooh, look at that. You're so fluorescent.
Daytime? Or no, nighttime?
Daytime.
Nighttime? Cool. This is a nice plant.
Yeah.
Everything else is algae.
So I'm noticing our lights are attracting, this cool Krangen shrimp, which you don't believe me because he totally disappeared. Stina, would you aim right at it? And I'm going to try to unearth this shrimp. No, he's would like to be buried. So there's a little shrimp right there that is excellent at camouflage. There you go. See? They just bury right down.
Burying in the sand.
Little crangans. They're super cute. There. Oh, there's one. Okay. Ooh, and there's another shrimp.
Yeah.
Oh, but there goes our crangan. See?
Bury.
And then the little antennas are the only thing left.
And you can see it's using the antennas to like shovel more sand over its back. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, fantastic.
Seems effective.
There's so many little shrimp here. Sitka shrimp and crangan shrimp and that cool broken back guy right there.
Yeah.
I wonder if they glow at all. Let's find out.
Oh,
Hey there.
I like your little glowy bits.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's just a...
Why do your tips glow?
Yeah, right? Wild.
It's really, it accentuates the pattern on this one, on the tail.
Yeah. That is so cool. So compared to the other ones, the little Sitka shrimp are generally more clear, but decidedly greenish.
Yeah. What is this?
Look at this one's nice and green because it's been eating green algae. Cool.
That is a whole new level of fun.
Yeah.
All these green shrimp. And green
And
sticks.
green sticks.
What?
Oh,
So-
here's a big green guy. Hi. Shrimp. We need to do more research on shrimp so I have more to talk about them.
Yeah. Always fun.
Oh man, is it cold out here? What is this? A piece of wood. Darn it.
The bigger mottled star.
Ooh, yeah.
Kind of compare its coloration to the
And
other one.
this also has a scale worm's little commensal animal with it. Ooh, that's a big one.
Big scale worm.
Look at the size of that worm.
Juicy.
Juicy?
I'm channeling Timon and Pumbaa here.
Oh, yes. Okay, I like it. Slimy yet satisfying. Fantastic. All right, we'll return you, little one. Back over where you go. Cool. Oh, did we see if they glow? Mottled Star, do you glow in the UV? No, you just kind of reflect it. No glowy.
Algae on the rocks glows.
All right, well, Stina, I think this is a great place for us to wrap up. It is cold, and we're about to walk into even windier section of the beach, so this might be a better place to conclude.
If you have a chance, go outside and look at the stars because
You can't see them with my
Popping
camera,
off.
but it's beautiful out.
Orion belt and I don't know.
Just
I
name
was
some.
trying to,
People
like,
aren't gonna know.
Connect that to like some funny pun to like give you a bow on tonight's presentation. But
No.
again, here's your reminder to go subscribe to our YouTube channel so that we can bring field exploration to the classroom because we can't do that through Facebook and TikTok. But thank you so much for joining us on this lovely adventure of the beach, and we always hope that you learn and have fun. Of course, if you can, a financial donation is awesome. If
Woohoo!
that's not available to you, just liking, sharing, commenting,
Telling a
spreading the
friend.
love. Yeah, tell your friends to sign up to our YouTube channel. Really, that support means a lot as well. So thank you.
Woohoo.
And learn
All
to have
right,
fun.
learn, have fun. We'll see you out here. We've got another low tide program tomorrow night. And then I think that's it for the low tides at night for the year. So tune in then and we'll see you soon.